Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to go a little bit deeper into our transcript features in the Seriously Simple Podcasting plugin. If you're using our SSP plugin here at Castos, thank you very much. We have a whole bunch of new features that were recently announced, and I want to just focus on the transcript portion today because there's a few things here that might be interesting to you, and one that I want to go deeper. So if you can use the chapter markers below the video, you can find the stuff that's most relevant to you. Okay, first and foremost, we have a transcript block now. So if we go to add block, add Castos transcript, you can see it drops in some placeholder text right here. It simply says transcript at the top, but we could change that. We could say it's Matt's transcript, if I could spell my own name correctly, and then it's got some placeholder text right here, but we're gonna save that for a second. On the right-hand side, you can do all kinds of customization things. You can hide the title. You can show the content by default or not. That means it's either collapsed or not on the front end of the website. You can play with the title colors if you wanted to, change that to blue, change the text size of the transcript if you'd like. And then if we update that and preview it on the front end, you'll see it right here below. Matt's transcript right below our player. So pretty self-explanatory on the customization features. There's a whole bunch of other features you can play with to customize the look and feel. There is one last item that actually kind of runs contrary to what I'm going to talk about as a benefit to Podcast 2.0, and that's this feed settings. Hide from podcast RSS feed. So over the years, if you have hundreds, thousands of podcasts and you've been putting your transcript into your WordPress content area, chances are you're shipping off this whole section of content to podcast players that your audience is subscribing to, and it shows up inside of their description area of their podcast app. Now, some apps will have a limit, some won't, but what you're doing is you're shipping off a whole bunch of text inside of your RSS feed, which makes it really, really large, file size-wise and text-wise. And some apps don't have the capability to read that perfectly. And what it's done is create very large feeds, and we have had a lot of users request, hey, is there a way that I can still put out my show notes, put out any important links that I might have, for my show inside the description, but I want to omit this transcript from going out because I want them to go back to the website to read the transcript because there's just a lot of text. So that is what this option is for. You can hide that from showing up in the description area, but it still is on the website, as you see here. The description would still show up on your website. It's just not getting shipped out into the description area of the podcast feed. So those of you that have hundreds, thousands of shows, you can rejoice if you're trying to save the file size. Now, the file size of your RSS feed. Now, what have we put in place of that to still ship the transcript and ship the transcript in a more industry standard way? Well, now we support the Podcast 2.0 spec for transcripts. So you'll see below the episode file field that you can now upload a transcript file. So the Podcast 2.0 namespace acts in a very simple way, acts just like this. We have a website with Seriously Simple Podcasting RSS feed, and it delivers that file into any podcast app, mobile or web or whatever comes next in the future, to display your transcript. Now you'll see here in these screenshots, this is a screenshot from the Podcast Guru app, which is a fantastic Podcast 2.0 app. I really like it. It's definitely one that I've been really thinking about switching to in place of Pocket Casts. But you can see that there's 3 different areas for the user to choose from when they're looking at an episode or listening to an episode. They can go to their notes section, the chapter section, and the transcript section. And the transcript has the timestamps and all of the transcript that goes along with the show. This is a screenshot from Curio, which is a web-based podcast player, which I've covered on this channel before. You can see here on the right-hand side, it's sort of the syncing up to the same timestamp here. They showed the transcripts on the right-hand side, and it follows along as you listen to the podcast. And this is the way that transcripts can, should, and will be delivered in the future. Podcast 2.0, the whole industry is still, looking to adopt some of these really great features like the transcript tag and bring in transcript support into apps, into web apps. It would be amazing if Spotify, Apple, Google, all the big names supported it. We probably won't see that for a while. It would be great if the big podcast apps supported it, like Overcast, like Pocket Cast, and all of the really popular, more mainstream apps. It would be amazing to get that support in here, because it truly is a great benefit to the content creator and to the listener. If you're following along and you're hearing impaired, you can follow along the transcript. If you want to go back and find some moment where somebody mentioned a link or a book or a location, and you just want to quickly browse through and find that moment in time, it's a great feature all around. So Podcast 2.0 namespace, transcript files being delivered right through the feed to show up in players, both mobile and web. Now, that's what we have support for. You simply upload that file in either SRT, VTT, JSON, HTML, or text. You can get a transcript file wherever you transcribe your podcast now. Descript is very popular. This is an episode that I did recently. Inside of Descript, you can share it, export it as text, and then pick which format you want to export in. Either HTML or text is supported. You can just export in text, export that file, save it to your desktop, open it up, and then you will be able to, you're not going to open it up, you're going to select it and upload it to your podcast website, hit select, and now that transcript file is here. Heck, you could use that same file and copy paste that same file into the Gutenberg block for showing the transcript on the website, but then hiding that from the feed so it's not eating up all of those resources, and then you're delivering it through the Podcast 2.0 spec, and then any of these apps, as they come online and support them, you'll have those transcripts ready to be delivered to your audience. And maybe you're already using a Podcast 2.0 app, like Fountain is now very popular. This Podcast Guru app is really fun. Curio Caster, if you're looking for a web-based player so you don't even need an app to listen to podcasts. All of this stuff is moving and trending in the right direction. It's fun stuff. So transcripts now supported more deeply, better through Seriously Simple Podcasting. You could display that right on your website. You can hide it, you can customize it, and then you can put it into your podcast RSS feed. Thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. Are you listening to podcasts that use transcripts in a Podcast 2.0 player? If so, let me know which app you're using below. You have another feature that you'd like us to support here at Castos or the Seriously Simple Podcasting plugin. Drop those comments below. Thumbs up if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you want more. We'll see you in the next episode.